I stood in the corner of the exclusive restaurant, holding a glass of champagne that had gone warm in my hand. My brother Michael's engagement party was in full swing. The whole place was glass and steel, rented out just for them. The air smelled of expensive perfume and judgment. "Orabelle, dear, come here." My mother, Jennifer's voice, cut through the noise. She was standing near the center of the room with my brother Michael, his new fiancée, Amanda, and my Aunt Michelle. Her smile was bright and sharp, like a scalpel. "Tell everyone about your new job." I'd been dreading this exact moment since I walked through the door. Have you ever felt like the outsider in your own family? Let me know your story down in the comments. I kept my voice neutral. A blank wall. "I work for the government." My mother Jennifer laughed. It was that particular laugh. The one that meant she was about to say something cutting, disguised as affection. "She's just being modest," she announced to the circle. "She just answers phones for the IT help desk. Barely makes $45,000 a year. I'm sure." She said it with a wave of her hand, as if shooing away the embarrassing detail. "But," she added, "we're proud. She's finally putting that education to some use." Aunt Michelle patted my arm. Her touch meant to feel like sympathy, but landing like pity. "At least it's honest work." "Dear," she cooed, "not everyone can be a superstar like your brother." All eyes turned to Michael, my older brother, the family's golden child. He was standing with his fiancée, Amanda, radiating the smug confidence of a man who had never failed at anything. At 30, he was already a vice president at a high-profile commercial real estate firm, and he never let anyone forget it. He was in the middle of a loud story about a new high-rise deal. "It's all about the optics," he was saying. "The value isn't just in the building. It's in the times idea, times of the building." My mother looked at him like he was a visiting god. I just stood there, watching them. Psychologists have a name for this. It's the golden child and scapegoat dynamic. In our family, Michael was the golden child. His success was tangible. It was flashy. You could see it, touch it. A high-rise building, a luxury car, a six-figure bonus. It was simple. And my parents loved simplicity. My work was abstract. It was complex. It lived in the shadows, in code and signals they couldn't possibly understand. And in their eyes, if they couldn't understand it, it wasn't real. So, I was cast as the scapegoat. The quiet, strange, underachieving daughter. My failure wasn't just a fact, it was a times necessity asterisk. It was the dark background they needed to make Michael's success look even brighter. Every family needs a simple story to tell about itself. And this was ours. Michael, the success. Orabelle, the disappointment. $45,000. Michael finally said, turning to me with a pitying smirk. "Wow. Ora. I mean, good for you. Someone's got to do the grunt work." Right, Michael's fiancée, Amanda, who worked in PR and looked like she was sculpted from polished marble. I gave me that look. The one that's all pity and judgment wrapped in a perfect smile. Still fixing printers. Ora Michael clapped me on the shoulder. "Hard enough to be aggressive. I keep telling you. You should come work for me. We could find you something in data entry. Get you a real career." "I don't actually work at the help desk." "Michael," I started, the words feeling tired before I even said them. "My job is more about..." "Oh, we tell people she's in cybersecurity." My mother Jennifer cut in, leaning toward Aunt Michelle, as if sharing a secret. "It just sounds better than help desk. Don't you think? More modern?" And that was it. The moment. I could have corrected them. I could have laid it all out. I could have said, "I'm a GS-15 lead engineer for US Cyber Command. I hold a top-secret clearance that half the people in this room couldn't pass. I write security protocols that protect the nation's infrastructure. And my total compensation, with contractor bonuses, is over $650,000 a year." But I didn't. I said nothing. This wasn't weakness. It was a callus. An armor I'd spent the last 8 years building. I remembered trying. Once. Years ago. When I published my first major paper on zero-day exploits. I was so proud. I tried to explain it at Sunday dinner. My father stared at me blankly and asked if it was like a school project. My mother changed the subject. Michael had just sold his first condo, and they called times that times more impressive. After that, I stopped trying. I stopped offering my complex, hard-won truth to people who only wanted a simple conveniently. My silence wasn't surrender. It was a strategic decision. It was the only way to protect my accomplishments from their dismissal. My father, James, walked over, putting his arm around Michael's shoulders. "This is the man of the hour," he boomed. "Now this is time's real, time's work. You can see it. You can touch it," he said, gesturing around the expensive restaurant. "Buildings. Land. That's real success. Not just, you know, fiddling with something on a computer." Amanda nodded, sliding her hand into Michael's interlaven. "It must be so hard." "Orabelle," she said, her voice dripping with fake concern. "Seeing everyone else move forward with their careers and their lives while you're, well, stuck. Hey, 45K, isn't times nothing asterisk?" Michael laughed. "It's a start." "Right." I just took a sip of my warm champagne. I let them believe it. I let my silence be the proof they needed, that I was exactly who they wanted me to be. The failure. The quiet, disappointing girl in the corner. It was easier that way. Or so I thought. The humiliation was almost complete. My father was shaking his head, and Amanda was looking at Michael with a gaze that said, asterisk. "See, this is what I was talking about." Michael, sensing his victory, leaned in for the final kill. "Seriously. Aura, if you need a loan, I can help you out. I just closed on the new downtown tower. My commission alone was probably 10 times your salary. I could float you a few thousand. Help you get a nicer apartment." Right then, something buzzed in my jacket pocket. It wasn't my phone. It was my other device. The one they didn't know about. I pulled it out. It's a specialized, encrypted satellite comm unit. Matte, black, and featureless until the screen wakes up. It doesn't look like a phone. The screen was flashing with a single crimson symbol and 2 words, code 0. "What's that?" Michael scoffed. "An emergency printer jam. Is the whole office freaking out because the toner is low?" I ignored him. My blood felt like it had turned to ice. I read the text beneath the alert. Code 0. Grid failure, imminent. Active ransomware attack on Eastern Seaboard power grid. National security threat. Require lead engineer Orabelle immediately. 4-hour critical window. 4 hours. That's how long we had before the entire Eastern Seaboard went dark. Potentially for weeks. The warm Noisy Restaurant de Saint-Pierre. The champagne in my hand. The condescending looks. The years of feeling small. It all evaporated. I set my glass down on a tray. "I need to make a call," I said, my voice flat. "Orabelle, we're in the middle of a toast." My mother started, annoyed, but I was already walking. I pushed open the glass door to the restaurant's private balcony. Stepping out into the cold night air, I could feel them watching me through the glass. I saw my mother gesture angrily. I saw my father shake his head in disappointment. I saw Michael and Amanda laugh, probably making another joke at my expense. What's her problem? Times I could practically hear my mother say, probably calling her help desk supervisor to beg for a raise. I turned my back to them, faced the city skyline, and pressed the secure link on my device. It connected in less than half a second. The moment the line connected, the years of quiet endurance fell away. It wasn't Orabelle, the help desk girl on that balcony. It was lead engineer Orabelle. GS-15. "This is Orabelle. Status. Update. Now." I could see my family through the glass. They had stopped talking and were watching me, annoyed and confused. "I don't care who's on shift." "Patel," I snapped, my voice sharp in the cold air. "I'm authorizing a protocol. Override. Get me a direct. Secure line to the director of Cybercom." "Yes. Right now." I saw my mother, Jennifer, frown. I saw Michael say something to Amanda, who was no longer smiling. "Director," I said, a new voice coming on the line. "This is Orabelle. I'm looking at the code 0 alert. Give me the vector." A pause. "Understood. Is the Secretary of Defense on the line?" Through the glass, I saw my father, James, put his drink down. Aunt Michelle looked bewildered. "Yes. Mr. Secretary," I said, my voice dropping into that formal tone I reserved for national emergencies. "The ransomware is already bypassing the primary firewalls. We have a 4-hour window before catastrophic failure. I need full administrative access. Yes. Sire. I'm aware of the stakes. Another pause as I listened. My mind racing through kill chain protocols. Understood. Sire. Please patch me through to the White House Situation Room. I'll coordinate the counter-op from my end. My mother's mouth was open. I saw her say my name. Orabelle, but no sound came through the thick glass. Michael's smug expression was gone, replaced by a look of profound, dawning confusion. He was staring at me like I was a stranger. The Times White House Times I saw him mouth to my father. This is lead engineer Orabelle. I said into the device. I'm on the line. I need the origin point of the breach. What was the initial intrusion vector? I listened. Processing the data stream. A third-party vendor. Unpatched servers. Which one? My entire body went still. Repeat that, I said. My voice suddenly dangerously quiet. The voice on the line confirmed the name. Slowly. I turned my head. I looked back through the glass. Past my shocked parents. Past my stunned aunt. And locked eyes with my brother. Michael. His face had gone a sickly, pale, white. He knew what I was about to hear. I held his gaze. Understand? I said into the device. My eyes never leaving my brother's. The intrusion vector was a compromised server at the Hamilton Price Real Estate Group. Yes. Sire. I know exactly who's in charge there. I ended the call. I clicked the call disconnect. The silence on the balcony was absolute, except for the distant sound of city traffic far below. I turned and pushed the glass door open, stepping back into the party. Or what was left of it. The music had stopped. The chatter was gone. Everyone? All my relatives. My parents. My aunt. Were frozen. Staring at me. Michael was visibly shaking. His face was slick with a cold sweat. Aura. He stammered. His voice barely a whisper. Orabelle. What did you mean? What did you say about Hamilton Price? Before I could answer, the main doors to the private dining room slid open. 2 men entered. They were not guests. They wore dark, perfectly tailored suits and earpieces. They moved with a speed and purpose that didn't belong in a restaurant. Their eyes scanned the room. Found me. And they moved. They walked directly toward me, bypassing my father, who instinctively tried to step in their way. They didn't even acknowledge him. Ma'am, the lead agent said. His voice was clipped. Professional. And quiet. Agent Coulson. We have secure transport waiting at the curb. The Situation Room line is ready for you. My mother, Jennifer, finally found her voice, though it was thin and reedy. Who are you? What is this, Orabelle? What is going on? You're scaring us. Agent Coulson never looked at her. His gaze remained locked on me. Waiting. Ma'am, we are on a 4-hour clock. I just nodded once. Understood. Agent. I turned my full attention to my family. I looked at Michael. He looked like he was shrinking, collapsing in on himself. Amanda, the perfect PR fiancée, was staring at him in dawning horror. Your servers. Michael A. I said. My voice was cold. Colder than the night air on the balcony. Not angry. Just factual. Like ABC. Your company's servers. They weren't patched. An intern set up a default admin password on a backup server, and it was never changed. That's how they got in. What? What does that times mean? Times, Amanda whispered. Her perfectly painted mask cracking. I didn't look at her. I looked right at my brother. It means, I said, that your real work just created a national security crisis? The entire eastern seaboard is about to go dark. It means that while you were celebrating yourself, your negligence opened the door for an attack on this country. I let the words hang in the silent room. I have to go fix your mess. I picked up my coat from the chair where I'd left it. Orabelle. Wait, my father. James commanded, trying to regain control. You can't just... I stopped. I turned back and looked at all of them. My mother, speechless. My father, sputtering. My aunt, terrified. And Michael, utterly broken. I looked at my mother, who had been so proud to announce my $45,000 salary. I have to go. Mom, I said. It's just... It's just grunt work. But someone has to do it. Right. Then I turned. And I walked out of the room. Agent Coulson held the door open for me. His partner fell in step behind me. I didn't look back. The next 4 hours weren't just hours. They were a lifetime. It was a blur of secure vehicles, windowless command rooms, and the steady, frantic pulse of a digital war. It wasn't loud. It was silent. Just me and my team, hunched over monitors, fighting ghosts in the machine. We were tracing signals, building firewalls at light speed, and cutting off access, one invisible string at a time. While the fate of 30 million people flickered on our screens, we stopped it. With only minutes to spare, the grid held. The next morning, the news reported a temporary service disruption in 3 states. A minor technical glitch. That was the cover story. The attack. Hamilton Price. My brother's catastrophic failure. It was all buried. Classified as a matter of national security. My phone, which had been silent during the crisis, stayed silent. No angry calls. No confused texts. No apologies. The silence just stretched. It lasted for 72 hours. Then, a knock on my apartment door. Not a text. Not a call. A knock. I opened it. It was my mother. Jennifer? Alone. She looked small. Her eyes were red and puffy. Her usual sharp, tailored confidence was gone, replaced by the crumpled look of someone who hadn't slept. She was just standing there in my hallway, looking lost. Orabelle. She started, her voice shaking. We didn't know. I just looked at her. I felt nothing. No anger. Not pity. Just a profound, quiet emptiness. The armor of silence was still in place. You didn't times ask asterisk. I said. It wasn't an accusation. It was a statement of fact. She flinched, as if I'd slapped her. Orabelle. Asterisk. Please asterisk. She finally broke, and the tears started to fall. Your father. And Michael. Oh God. Michael. And there it was. The real reason she was here? His company. She sobbed. They're under federal investigation. The partners are pulling out. He's going to lose everything. Amanda left him. She grabbed my arm. Her fingers digging in. You have to help him. You're in the government. You can talk to them. You can fix this. I looked at her hand on my arm, and then back at her face. I gently, firmly, removed her hand from my sleeve. No. Mom, I said. My voice was quiet, but it was absolute. I can't fix this. But your family, she cried, her voice escalating into a desperate wail. He's your brother. No, I said again, taking a small step back into my apartment. He needs a lawyer. I paused. Just for a second. He doesn't need... What was it? An IT help desk girl. I closed the door. I didn't slam it. I just... closed it. It made a soft times click. Asterisk. The sound of a lock. Finally, and fully, engaging. I stood in my apartment, listening to the silence. This time, it felt different. It wasn't the heavy armor of silence anymore. It was just peace. I walked over to my home office and looked at the wall. My degrees, my certifications, my commendations from a job they never bothered to understand. It took me 29 years. But I finally realized, your true worth isn't defined by your family's validation, or their lack of it. It's defined by your own competence, by what you can do, by the person you times are times when no one is watching. I didn't need them to see me anymore. Asterisk I times saw myself. Has your family ever tried to put you in a box? Let me know your story in the comments.